Hi there. Welcome back to the podcast. And I want to say thank you to whomever is listening. And I pray as I'm speaking that this podcast here is encouraging you and inspiring you and motivating you as you're building your foundation, your relationship with the Lord. And I'm hoping that, not even just hoping, but just praying as I'm speaking, that it's edifying you too, and that it allows you to seek God, to seek his face, really, from what I'm learning now, to be under his presence and to really be in your secret place with him daily, meaning that he's with you daily, especially if you're at work or you're to yourself or wherever you may be around the world. God is here. He's always with us. And I'm sorry, I just got startled here with a leaf. But I'm just here, in this backyard, just sitting down with my leg crossed now. And I'm contemplating on what's going on, around me. And as I'm looking how, a bit murky and dreary outside looks now, because it seems like it's about to rain. But all in all, I'm just here, just taking it all in and understanding, as I've been listening to Dr. Miles Monroe about the kingdom, about the purpose of the kingdom, and understanding, the power of understanding, the purpose of understanding. Even as my church is in their fast, and I'm not in the fast with them, because I just got out of a 24-hour fast, and because of personal situations now with my body, I'm not taking in the fast now, but I'm going into a fast, but not with the ministry, but with someone, with my spiritual sister. We're going into a fast, entering a fast, soon, which is real soon now, but as I'm learning, a fast is a sacrifice. Since I've heard this on a prayer line that I'm, with the ministry I'm under, and that a fast is, and I've heard this from Dr. Miles Monroe. When you're in a fast, it really pleases the Lord, because all that, your desires and all that is is out of the way. Meaning your flesh has to be subject to the spirit. Meaning that even though your stomach may be growling and everything else like that, you're putting it under the subjection into the spirit, meaning you're more in the presence of the Lord. You're more, you're with him, you're seeking him, you're desiring him more, and you're praying more. In the fast, as I'm learning, as I'm about to go into minds, that, when you're fasting, is really, you're supposed to be in the word. And you're supposed to be, when you're in the word, you really understand who God is. And the different aspect of the Lord, you're knowing that, you're understanding that he's a deliverer. You're understanding that he's the God of love. He's the God of truth. He's your strong tower. He's your salvation. He's everything. And that's a form of praise and worship too, from what I'm understanding. Especially when you read the book of Psalm, the psalmist tells you what God, who and whom God is, as he's desiring to know the mind of God. Because I'm noticing that when Dr. Miles Monroe said this, I was listening to a lot of Dr. Miles Monroe yesterday when I was working, that when God said that David was a man after his own heart, he was talking about David was the only person in the scripture that God mentioned that was after the mind and the understanding of the mind of God. And as I'm sitting here outside, and I've been doing this for quite a while, not as long, but as quite a while, even as looking to the butterfly, how God minds to me is wonderful. But it's amazing how a God that we serve could create such a thing with just a thought, and it was spoken. Like when you look at the butterfly, for me, it's looking at the butterflies, because I'm looking at the wings, and I'm noticing each butterfly that I look at, the wings is different patterns. And I'm at awe about that, because it reminds me of the of the earth. There's even people, we were made into his image, but we don't look alike. It's something that's unique about us, like the butterfly. When you're looking at different butterflies, their wings, the colors, you see the pattern, something that you never seen before, and that man even made. Some of these pattern reminds me, I'm thinking to myself, Lord, is this how your palace looks like in heaven? Some of these things that you see in a butterfly, it just amazes me, especially with the flowers too. But now they cut the grass today, where I live at. But even with the flowers, how it's beautiful, and then the little flower that we made, that we may step on or pass by in your yard. Like, I would recommend that you take a time and look at the flowers on the ground sometime, because you notice that it's rare flower you don't see, you don't even notice the tiny one, and it's a beautiful color, like it's a lavender flower or a bluish kind of color that you haven't noticed before. But as I'm talking now, and as I'm in this season now where I have to be quiet and be to myself, because I ain't gonna lie, it was a day this week where I felt a little despair because I'm by myself and it was hard, and I called my spiritual sister. But at times I understand, and God had to bring me back to realization, to my senses, that it's I'm not alone. It's something Dr. Miles Monroe say too, that was profound. Alone me all in one, because God created a single person first before and then marriage came along. So I'm, God is putting me in God is having me here in this, in this season now. Even though I ain't gonna lie, this is one of my hardest seasons to be quiet and to be to self, where I'm learning to love myself, because the Creator who created me loved me, and He said I was fearfully and wonderfully made. So you know what? As I'm seeking His face, and I'm seeking His presence now, even in the midst of my, chaos now, that I'm trusting the Lord with everything, especially what's to come, and what He has for me. Like, I'm not letting fear, hold me back, because I do not desire to abort my promise. And this was a text that I got from another spiritual sister who texted me, and I know she was hearing from God, because that was a confirmation. She said, do not abort your promise. And I texted her back, by the grace of God, I will not abort my promise, because you know what? I am close than ever to experience and to declare the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And I'm testifying this to myself, to testify, not testify, I'm prophesying this to myself and testifying to whomever is listening. This shall too come to pass, and this shall also come to pass into your life, that whatever promises God has promised you, it shall come to pass in the land of the living, that you shall not die before you fulfill your promises, your purpose, that God has you here on this earth for. As I declare and I decrease, I'm speaking now, because I'm speaking motivation, I'm speaking encouragement into your life, because you have to encourage yourself, and sometimes you have to learn how to encourage yourself, because David said he encouraged himself. Because I'm in a situation now where at times I have to encourage myself, even when the enemy may have my have my back against the wall. I know that the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him, and that has happened, and I'm noticing God is doing that now too. And I refuse to cast my pearls onto swine, and I'm saying that to you too. Do not cast your pearls onto swine. Do not let anyone into your life now, because God is having you in a season where He's going to separate people, and He's going to expose the fake people in your life. There's a lot of things, and I'm noticing too, it's not the stranger. You're thinking that it's people that you don't know, but it's really people who you think is close to you are your enemies. And it's and David had a word of that. It's not those who are his foes. It was those who were close to him, those who he break bread with, that turned their backs against him. And I'm just saying this because I don't know why I'm going hard like this, but it's probably because of the season I'm in. I'm praying encouragement over your life, and I'm praying, I'm not going to say prosperity, because you know what? In every good thing that we're doing, and especially if we're walking in the, in the will of God, meaning that, not leaning onto your own understanding, like the word said in Proverb 3:6, that, lean onto God, do not lean onto your own understanding. In every way, acknowledge the Lord. Acknowledge Him. Meaning that you don't lean onto your own understanding. You acknowledge God in everything you do. And plus, you know what? And I'm going to say this too. Always seek His counsel. And I'm learning this because I could have made, I almost made a big mistake of moving. But I asked God in my subconscious, and I said, if this is not where He wants me to be, intervene. And the Lord sure did intervene. And I thank God for this, because He is doing a new thing in my life. And I want to say that, He is doing a new thing in your life too. Keep moving and I'm going to say this, keep moving, keep pushing on. Because remember, the race is not given to the swift, nor to anyone who is strong, who is physically strong. and who is physically fast, but to those who endure. And I pray the spirit of endurance, and the spirit of confidence, and the spirit of boldness will hover over you, whoever is listening, whoever needs this word of encouragement, because I'm encouraging myself now too, as God is putting things into perspective for me. As I'm speaking now, I'm prophesying that He's putting things into perspective to for you as well. Like, things are falling into place, even though you may lack some things now. Like, you may be backed up on bill. You may be a single mother, because I'm a single mother, and you may be a single father, or you may be a teenager or a young person who don't know where to go. And I've been in that situation too, and I'm still in that, where I don't understand the Lord, but I'm trusting Him with everything now. Like, just stay focused on Him. Don't worry about the situation. Don't worry about the problem. And I'm saying this, I'm going to say this phrase here. And I've said this before. It's easier said than done, but do not let your mind be consumed. Okay, think about it. Even though you have bills, even though you have this and that going on, you may have student loans issues. You may have issue with the with a relationship with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Don't let that consume you. You as a believer know who's for you. Then those, there's more for you than those who are against you. So as I'm saying this now, and as I'm praying, because praying is speaking, as I'm noticing, as I'm speaking this now, and I'm adding to you, that I hope and I pray that you adding to others too, and be still and let God be God in your season. Like it says in Exodus 14:14, God will fight for you, and all you need to do is hold your peace, because there's no need for you to be angry, to be malicious, to mumble, grumble, to be discouraged. God is fighting your battles. Though you don't see it, He is fighting in your midst. Just trust and believe. Trust and believe, and meaning have faith. So I hope I say something to encourage you. I want to say God bless you and thank you for listening. And I'm hoping that I did say it clear, and that you're understanding me too from as I'm speaking. But God bless you and thank you for listening.